We are live.
I'm over here making deals and shit.
From
Live.
Nubian Human and the Anacostia Arts Center in historic Anacostia, Southeast Washington, D.C. And this is the Neighborish Livecast. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. I'm Super Dave, a.k.a. Mr. Incredible. And with me, as always, is D.C.'s native son.
Hey.
The SC3 representative.
Hey.
I thought that was, anyway.
That's enough. That's good.
Jason.
Hey.
My co-host. Is so good to have you here with us, sir. And, you know, we've had a number of, we had a nice little string of good conversations and great shows and great guests. And we're going to keep that going today because our guest today is the co-owner of So Creative, S-E-W, Creative Lounge, right? Yeah. I want to get it right. I want to make sure I'm calling it the right thing. And they do events like sew-alongs and sip-and-sews and things of that nature to bring the art of sewing back into the mainstream, right? That's kind of the goal and the move. So we definitely have Cecily. Now, give me one more time. I don't want to mess it up.
Habimana.
And I see our co-host rushing in right now, so we're going to squeeze in a little bit. She's coming in hot.
Which way?
And so, yeah. But, yeah, we're so glad to have you here. We're going to talk about your business, your life, being, you know, a black businesswoman, owning a business and things of that nature. We're going to get into all of that. But first, after we welcome our co-host in here, she came in hot, fresh off the workout.
Nice to meet you. I'm Patrice.
Cecily.
Did you get the name right, Dave?
Yeah, I got it right. She
No.
helped me with
Did
it.
he?
No.
I'm about to say, I don't believe you. Let me ask her.
I didn't say it right?
You asked me what it was again.
Oh, okay. Then that's
You
but
had
I
a-
said it
you
right
had-
after you told me, though.
you
I
had-
was
you-
like, wait a minute.
no.
She gonna say I didn't say. But anyway, asking you doesn't count, right?
No, it doesn't
All
count.
Right. You won that one. One for Cecily, but I got the first name right because I was sure saying Cecily last night. Wait a minute. No, let me.
H.U.?
Hey.
You
that's
know?
Oh, she went to H.U. too, Dave.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Had a fellow Bison here, so we.
So she can correct you when you misspell things.
All right. Anyway, our co-host has joined us. The personal
Fruit
trainer and
Fit.
fitness guru, Miss Fruit Fit herself.
Hey.
Patrice Jones is with us. We so good. Out there, is your volume up? Is your mic on? Let's see. You should be on.
Levels, Dave.
Can you hear yourself?
I think I can hear. I can hear me talk, but
Well, of course you can hear you. That's not.
Whatever college you went to.
Okay, try it one more time. Try it now.
I can hear me talk. You turn
yeah,
my
I
shit
can
up,
now.
There
Dave.
you are.
Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
good
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, I did turn yours up by accident.
Okay.
You don't need to be no louder.
Yeah, I'm good. You got
But
me.
anyway,
Yeah.
so we're gonna get into the conversation with Cecily. See, I almost
Say the last name, Dave.
Habimana.
Okay, all right. Just checking,
Yeah.
Cecily.
Bang. Anyway,
Okay.
we're going to get into that in a minute. But first, there's some things going on in the city, in the country, and the world that we need to talk about.
Man. Oh, my
And
goodness.
let's talk about it. I'm going to start by talking about Valentine's Day is coming up. Now, I asked the question on social media, and not too many people answered it, but I'm going to ask you guys how you feel about it. Valentine's Day is one of those days that's really promoted, in my opinion, as more of a female-centric situation. Do you think men should expect to get gifts on Valentine's Day?
Who's that question to, Dave?
Everybody. I'm going to start with Cecily.
There you go.
Because she had to look like she had a good answer for
She
that.
always
You're
got it.
married, too, so right? So,
Yeah.
so do you...
we don't celebrate Valentine's Day.
Oh,
no.
okay, that's a
yeah,
good,
we
Hooray
we
for
do
the...
we do birthdays and anniversaries real big, but not
Okay.
not not Valentine's Day.
Okay, so no Valentine's Day gifts being given back and forth. In your,
I mean,
okay.
it's, you know.
It's a bit. Did you think? Did you ever celebrate it or never?
I mean, my dad still sends me a Valentine's Day card.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Shout out to Dad. But Patrice, what you think? Should men get Valentine's Day gifts, or should they expect Valentine's Day gifts? Do you celebrate Valentine's Day? And
well, so I'm gonna just hold this for you.
okay.
I think that so just as I mentioned with other holidays, I think it's a celebration of love. If you want to make it that, I think every holiday is what you make it. It doesn't have to be what it, the history of it, or what we say it's supposed to be. So
Y'all always have a lot of fun with that phone.
I do think guys. I think guys should be spoiled just like ladies. So, I think it goes both ways. But I'm not gonna speak to the holiday specifically. I'm gonna let Jay do that.
Well, I don't have, I don't really have too much to say about.
Yeah, I know Jay don't really do the
holidays.
holidays.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I just wanted to know if anybody felt like the men should be,
I need a case.
because
I'll say hi.
the men aren't as appreciated.
really, Dave, that's how you feel?
Well, not as appreciated. They definitely are, but it's not something that I don't think it's really something that's for us necessarily. Like it's more catered toward females. In my opinion.
What's the history of Valentine's Day?
the
Slaughter.
Saint Valentine's Day Massacre?
That's what I'm.
Yeah.
Slaughter.
There we go. So
I mean, you want but I mean, you know me, I feel like it's more about what it has become in these days. I think it's important to understand the history to make sure you're not celebrating something that goes against maybe something you believe in or something. But outside of that, what we've made it come to stand for is more about love and expressing that love in a specific way. Some people say it's more just, about money. But I think, even people who don't have money can express love in different ways on that day, more specifically on that day, because we do get, people say you should do it every day, but we do get caught up in our day-to-day lives and doing this and that and, working and taking care of kids and things of that. So to have a day set aside to really express and show somebody how much you care about them, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. That's my personal opinion. But,
that was cute. Baby.
Yeah, that was real cute.
I don't like the way you use the word cute, Jay. I feel it was slightly.
That was sweet. No, that's worse.
Let's just move away from that whole topic. So I want to talk about this Gayle King, Lisa Leslie. Well, actually, let me be clear. I don't really want to talk about it as much, but it is
Hold
something
up,
that's going
Dave.
on.
Hold up. I
What's
got
up?
an important
Mike Rose.
interruption.
Okay.
Technically, I am late today. I was not recording on my live the whole time.
Oh no.
And I know you wanted the opportunity to get on me about not being on time.
But see, look what I'm gonna do. Watch what I'm gonna do.
And there you have it,
Jay,
my brother.
it's all right, Jay.
For real?
Everybody makes mistakes.
Oh,
Jay. It's quite all right.
thank you,
I'm
Dad. I
cool
love
with
you,
that.
man. Thank you, man. I
we got your
appreciate
back,
you.
brother.
I thought
We
you was gonna give
hold
me
you
the
down.
business.
Nah, man, I'm not that kind of dude.
That's how we got to evolve, man.
Definitely.
And leading into evolving, go on and finish what you were just about to talk about, Dave. We gonna get to the root
So
of this.
I'm sure everybody's heard about it, but in case you've been living under a rock for the last couple of weeks,
Yeah, I live under a rock.
Nah,
don't-
nope. Don't believe it.
I do.
No, you don't.
I do.
Well, some people don't,
right, let's
don't
get
follow
to it.
social media and all of that. But basically, following the passing of Kobe Bryant and the other people who were in the helicopter with him, Gayle King, who's a reporter for CBS, she did a piece where she interviewed one of Kobe's close friends, Lisa Leslie, basketball WNBA star Lisa Leslie. And during the interview, she posed a line of questioning to Lisa Leslie that some people took offense to. It was directly related to the charges that were leveled against Kobe a couple of years back. And, the assertion or assumption that he sexually harassed or raped a young lady. And, the charges were dropped. And that situation was something that, of course, his family and friends in the state are trying to move away from. And she brought it up in a way that some people say was disrespectful, and took a lot of personal offense to. So in the wake of that interview, of the clip of that interview being shown, a lot of things have happened. Gayle came out and said that it was more on CBS for showing that piece of the interview and not showing the interview in its entirety, to which a lot of people said, you still ask the questions. Some of the people who took personal offense to it, most notably Snoop Dogg, who came out on the live video, and what did he call her, Jay?
Long dog face bitch.
Yeah. So I got
Dog hair. He was talking about her fake hair.
Oh, dog head.
yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
but,
I'm
we
sorry.
got the parental advisory up there, but
I'm sorry.
But yeah, so that was the
You caught me
quote.
off guard,
and a couple of other people said a few things. LeBron James came out and said a few things about it, and a couple other celebrities made remarks. Now, in the wake of those remarks, the internet has been ablaze, basically, about the connotations, the expectations, and different things about this interview. A couple of things that I wanted to just make points about. First of all, Essence did a article responding to the whole situation and kind of tried to sum it up or bring it back to misogyny and men disrespecting women. And it was interesting, like some of the things that that were in the Essence article.
Ooh, this about to be good.
Is it?
Yep.
I don't even really, because it's such a.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's a beautiful day. We should rejoice and be encouraged.
So in the Essence article, I'm just read a little piece of it. The author,
Read it, Dave.
The author said, if the backlash to Gayle King clarifies anything, it is that retribution never seems more swift than when black women step outside of the confines of how black men expect us to act, speak, or think. And, little stuff like that. It goes on to say, let's see, some people in the black communities can go from extolling the virtues of being a girl dad one moment to being out for blood of a woman who dared to go off the approved script of behavior the next. And like I said, she gave examples of LeBron James and Snoop Dogg. And it's tough for me when people make that kind of a comparison, just because there's key factors that I know that were noticeably left out of this article. The main thing being that both the examples that she mentioned, LeBron James and Snoop Dogg, both knew Kobe personally. He was personal friends to both of them, and they had relationships with this person. So if somebody, in your opinion, disrespects someone, especially someone who's passed on, and someone that you knew personally, so there's a saying that I think that I've used a lot and was coined more during the Me Too movement, and it's, I think I heard Aisha say it first, our old co-host. She said, you can't dictate someone else's level of outrage. And so you don't have the right to tell somebody else how outraged they can be about any given situation. And so when you put it in the context of this man being their personal friend and them taking offense, and so to try to make it a thing about men and women, I think the only difference in the situation is if, like Geraldo Rivera or some male journalist has said it, these people who made comments online might have actually gone to see that person, as opposed to, just making comments online to kind of tell her. Because, I think it's our responsibility in this community to when people make mistakes or do things that offend you, is to check them on, is to talk to them about it. How else are they going to know about the offense and have the opportunity to either make it right or make a decision one way or another what to do about it if you don't make it known that you've been offended? So, and that's the way they chose to do it. And Snoop Dogg is not like a defense lawyer or a stockbroker. He's a Crip from Long Beach, California. So the way he went about it is how he went about it. And so, that's basically my opinion on it. Is I take pause when people, try to misconstrue the situation as something that it's not. And I don't think it really has too much to do with misogyny as a whole. What you think, Jay? You say you had something for us.
I had a lot, but I want, I don't want to go on you asked me. Let me go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, in the particular question you just asked me about, in this particular case, because I know a lot of women are outraged. A lot of my close friends have mentioned and expressed outrage in regards to this particular circumstance, claiming misogyny. But I don't think this is a case of misogyny. I think in particular, because they would have went on whoever asked the question, like whether it had been a male, female, dog, cat, what I'm saying? It wasn't in this particular case an instance of misogyny, like Snoop lashing out at Gayle because he hates women.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I think it's because whoever was in that chair across from Lisa Leslie who asked that question then went off of script to inquire more, because she didn't seem to get the answer that she was looking for, went off script and then asked her at her personal dig to it. I think people were just upset with her because she was the one in particular. But to bring that all the way around, Snoop, the people who were publicly recognized for speaking out against Gayle and Oprah for their work in white supremacy, one was Snoop, one was 50 Cent, one was Boosie, who all are contradictory, who all have perpetuated and misogyny in their music,
Right, yeah.
in their life, in their walk, and their public persona have always disrespected women, treated women like shit, called women out there. They've made a career and a living off of. So it's not to get them off the hook for the misogynistic lifestyle that they perpetuate and condone. And we need to hold them accountable, just like we need to hold Gail accountable for
Right.
talking that bullshit about Kobe and his family. You know what I'm saying? So it goes both ways, but I think we need to get out of our feelings and out of our emotions. And like that particular case was not a case of misogyny. And all the women have, expressed like that's what it is. And it's like, nah, that's what it's not. And we still need to fight that and address that in Snoop, in 50, in Boosie. But in this particular case with Lisa Leslie and Gayle King, I don't think Snoop's remarks or feelings or sentiment, because that was his close, personal friend. I think it was whoever would have probed and poked at Lisa like that about Kobe's allegations would have gotten that outrage and that same, venom. So
Yeah.
I'll stop there because I got more shit later. But go on, Dave.
Okay.
Go on with the
Okay.
show.
Well, I mean, and we're both, coming at it from the standpoint and the viewpoint of men. But let's ask the ladies how you feel
Absolutely.
about it. Either Cecily, do you or have you heard about it? Because you say you live under a rock. You're not really.
I'm just not always clued into everything.
Okay.
And
Mainstream.
yeah, just because of my life, 2 businesses, 2
Understood.
babies, husband.
Right.
I can't do it all. So, but I mean, I basically, I agree. It didn't seem like from how you explained it, because thank you for thoroughly explaining.
I tried. Thank you. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, Dave be having
See,
notes
Jay?
and shit.
Yeah,
Hey, that's right.
I do
I'm
what
on
I
your
can.
side now, Dave. I'm a new man, brother.
Okay. I was.
We in this. Are we gonna change the world today on this podcast?
We're gonna try. We're
No,
gonna try.
the world's gonna be different after this. Watch.
Okay. Go ahead.
This
I'm
is
sorry.
live, so we can run this back.
If Jay talks too much, just talk over him.
Yep,
No,
that's-
I'm
yep.
good.
Thank you. That's the rules too, Cecily. Go ahead.
No, but it didn't seem like it was a matter of being a man or a woman. It's just about the appropriateness of it. And,
Right.
just thinking about in general, like when people pass, whether they're a celebrity or not, I'm extra sensitive to how it's used
You have to be.
and on like social media and such.
Mhm.
And so that's the part that really gets me, whether or not, Kobe was, a celebrity,
Right.
or he was just playing basketball in the park.
Right.
Just like let people mourn and let people, go through that process before we kind of,
I definitely agree. Like, I mean, 'cause to all the people who said that, she's a journalist, and so those probing questions are things that they do. I think that there's also a level of common courtesy and timing.
yeah.
So if maybe 2, 3, 5 years from now she asked that question, it might have gone over a lot
Right.
better than to directly in the wake of it. Not even a week, right? Not even 2 weeks. Not even fully 2 weeks to bring up something like that. I just think it was a poor move on her part. I don't necessarily believe it was as much, structured to tear down as much as just thinking that she was above the point of having it brought to other people's, or having people call her out on it. Because, I mean, people get to the point where they feel like, they're kind of above that type of stuff. And she's found out that she wasn't. And that's what freedom of speech is. You can say whatever you want to say, but you have to be ready for what people say. It was Cat Williams that was like, you can walk in the club and say F everybody in the club, but then you got to also make it out of the club and make it back to your car. So Patrice had something to say. I see she's
So I have
raising her hand like a
I'm
polite
like
student. I
trying to-
appreciate you being so. No, I'm just
So 2 things. I think freedom of speech is an illusion. It really isn't. We don't really have it, because if you think about it, with regards to protected groups, you say the wrong thing and you're facing charges, or whether they're criminal or civil. And the second thing is, I think we're missing the buck with the whole Gayle King interview. Again, you guys have heard me say this. I think we're not paying attention to this whole emasculation of our black men and how it's becoming, like you said, it became a gender thing, right? They turned, his what we should be in celebration of his memorial and supporting his family into a battle of the sexes through journalism.
Right.
And
Very well put. Yeah.
we are so honed in on media. Media is actually a distraction. It's a distraction. Mainstream media is a distraction. And we got to start peeling the layers back and really honing in on, like I said, the issues that are underneath. Like Jay was saying, whether it was a man or a woman that asked the question, we should all feel some sort of way, that Kobe's name was disrespected like that. But they turned it into a gender thing, a man versus woman thing. And another thing Jay said about the rappers and stuff that came out to speak against it, they all call women bees all the time. Like, they disrespect us all the time. So it wasn't even, to me, them coming out like that wasn't even credible. We need to start knocking on people's doors. We need to start holding each other accountable, with the stuff that, how we move within our communities. I think social media has created this delusional realm of being where we're like, oh, somebody did something, let me type a comment, or let me make a video. That's not impactful.
Yeah.
That's not impactful. I think to your point, I think you mentioned that we need to start holding each other accountable for the BS that we do. That's inappropriate to and disrespectful to our community and especially our men. Period. That's it.
Well, that's
all I got.
a nice way to put a nice little button on that topic for now. Like Jay said, we'll probably come back to it because he said he had some more. But I did want to get to earlier this week on social media, who's Joe? Jay told a very interesting story. Jay told a very interesting story about a trip to the dentist.
Oh.
And I just wanted to talk about what happened. Did you see his Instagram
I'm like, to the
story?
dentist.
It's just an interesting story that he told, and I want to talk about it. And especially having two ladies here, I want to talk about the implications of it.
I thought we was gonna change the world with this podcast today, Dave, but you're going left, nigga.
Well, I mean, you had some more about Kobe. You want to stay there for a minute?
No, I'm good. I'm good with that.
Okay. All right. Well, then stop
I
listening to me and talk
forgot
about
you.
the story. No, I'm just
Okay.
playing.
Yeah, all right.
You don't want to tell the story?
You
nervous?
I'm not nervous. It's deep.
It is, and that's why I kind
And
of one deep
as
conversation
opposed to my
another
Instagram, people were waiting for like the part 2, and I was like, I'm not going to post the part 2. It's gonna.
Well, I mean, there wasn't at the end of the story. Maybe it wasn't the end of the story. Oh, okay. So look, now you piqued everybody's interest. Now you have to tell the story, Jay.
All right. So I was at the dentist last Wednesday, right? So I was early. So when I get there early, I don't like waiting in the dentist. I just wait outside. It's up there by the zoo, by Connecticut Avenue. So it's nice. So I'm waiting outside, and the dentist is right next to these apartment buildings. And so this white girl comes out the apartment building, like walking her dog, right? And then, she was fit. So I was just like, oh, she's built like
What
that.
you said?
No.
You said she was fat.
Well, I didn't know y'all wanted me to say the story verbatim.
Well,
I'm just telling y'all what the fuck happened last Wednesday at the dentist. Like, yeah, she was fat. And so it was weird because, like, she was so fat. I was like, yo, it was just weird. And so I was looking at it. I was like, yo, shit is strange. I was like, yo, how you built like this? Like, what the fuck? Like, how did this happen? And so she caught me looking at her, right? And so as opposed to, like, grit on me or give me shit, like, she actually came over and, like, struck up conversation. So we was talking a while, we was, like, having a good conversation. I was telling her, everything about my kids and my life. And she was telling me what she was doing and blah, 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 blah. But then time went by. It was time for my appointment. I was like, all right, I'm about to go to my appointment. I was like, it's been cool talking to you. Peace out. Peace. Like, that was it. And then she was like, yo, we should hang out. And I was like, I was like, I don't know about that shit, white girl. I ain't that comfortable. Like, you know what I'm saying? I know it's a war against us, and this is probably like some type of trap. I was like, nope, I'm good. Because you fucking built like Serena Williams. You real nice. You asking me out. I was like,
I saw Get Out. I'm not falling for now.
I was like, let me go. And then as we was going, she was like joking because the way she said it, but she was like, I know them black girls don't appreciate you. and I was like, I felt anger, and I guess the shit that everybody laughed about on Instagram, I was like, I didn't know whether to punch this bitch in the face or to cry on her shoulder, but you know, so it was just interesting because she was playing, but my facial, she could tell that I didn't appreciate what the fuck she did by my expression, like, cause it was funny, but it's like I took it away. I was like, oh, you trying to play with my intelligence. And I was like, and this is a divisive ploy. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Really, she was just trying to get something.
She's trying to see what side of the fence you was on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I got her number.
That's part 2. Jay about to. Jay is happily married in a year from now.
Hey. But it's, you know, but so I guess since we're here now, so the part two to that story that everybody's been, you know, looking for. This is my takeaway. We really need to heal ourselves. We being black men and black women. There's an active war against our unity with each other. And it comes many ways, because this woman was highly intelligent. She's bisexual. She has a gay black girlfriend, but she dates black men. So it's like in war strategy, she was like, all right, I got this black woman not dating men, but I also at the same time am dating black men. So it's like, oh, that shit's deep. And what else was deep is that, you know, I guess she works in some type of counseling office, like, you know, where people get therapy and shit. So she
know about this.
She knows about like our
angles.
problems, and you know what I'm saying. And it's like she's living her life with this information and knowledge about our dysfunction within each other. And she has a black girlfriend and she dates black men. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta, you know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, this is deep. That's why I was like, yo, it's a part 2, but it's deep. It's not what you think. It's like, it's not. But I was like, it's deep because it's like they're capitalizing off of our dysfunction with each other. And so it's just an interesting scenario, man. And I think I should get a salute from black women because I did not budge. I was like, I'm not fucking with you, white girl.
Oh
like,
my God.
I was like, I see what's happening. You know what I'm saying? Because like she was like fine from the physical aspect. I could see how like black men would just be like knocking her down, and you know what I'm saying. But it's like, nah, I ain't even.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. No, I was just gonna say. So to clarify, the whole I got her number was a joke.
No, I got it. That's how I know this stuff, but that's how I know where she works. That's how I know what's in her mind, like how she's approaching life. Obviously, she's not from this area. She moved here from another part of the country.
She about to put you in a study.
I was about to say, be careful, nigga.
But she's in a study, nigga. You know what I'm saying? It go both ways. It go both ways. She about to be put in a study too. So you know, this
study. Quote
I'm just saying, like,
you gonna be on a date. Next thing you know, you're gonna be in the trunk.
But I mean, but you know, it also taught me a lesson in revolution, because it's like, damn, what if somebody really does put in the work? What if this white person does encourage all of the black people she meets and knows, like, you gotta shop at black stores. If you got black children, you better go raise those black children. Or if you know what I'm saying.
But
would it be as impactful coming from?
Was that really what she was saying? She said that. So let's go back to what she said. You said that she said that I know those black girls don't appreciate you.
No, that's
that
was
was
coming back to you, Jay.
That could go either way. That means that either she thought she was, you know, using it to her advantage, or she was really like driving home, because some men don't actually think that. Like, what do you think? Why do you think she said that?
Well, I think it was a test, because I think she was intelligent enough to know that wasn't some random, you know, statement.
Right.
She knew that triggers some black men. Like, she works in a counseling office.
Right.
So she knows triggers, and you know what I'm saying? Well, not that she knows, and she's not a therapist, but she just works in the office. So people coming in there have dysfunction issues. And, you know, so I think she was aware of what she was trying to trigger out of me. She even thought that I would be because that in her from her perspective may have been true. And that may have worked on men. That's why I was like, I ain't know whether to punch her in the face or cry on her shoulder. But I'm sure she gets a lot of cry on the shoulders because of the levity of that it would spark or in a black man.
Right.
But I was like, nah, I'm cool with that. But then I was like, I was curious, like, yo, how'd you, like, because I was angry at first. But then I was like, yo, what gave her the gall to even say that shit to me? So it made me curious, like, yeah, give me your motherfucking number. Let me go see what this. Like, nah, because how'd you know to do that? And so that's it.
It sounded like it worked, though.
I was about to say, be careful, nigga. She got you. Go ahead.
Because at first you sound like you were on your way back into the dentist, like, all right, nice talking with you. But then she had to say something striking enough for you to turn around
right,
and to get her number and to call.
Yeah.
So to do that in one sentence, like,
but I mean, yeah, but I mean, I
checkmate,
guess
nigga.
She was she's trying to like date or hang out, and I was like, nah, I ain't with that. But
but dating and hanging out starts with something.
Yeah,
true. But I mean, I know, it remains to be seen. Like, I don't
want to talk more about the struggle, and she like, well, come on over, we'll talk about it.
Baba Marvin said somebody saw the movie Get Out.
Right.
Maybe she did, Baba.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe she is the movie Get Out. Be careful, nigga.
Exactly.
Run. No, but so those are kind of
y'all giving me shit. I thought I did a good job. I was like,
I mean, well, when you say you got a number, that kind of. But anyway, I just didn't expect that. I didn't expect to hear that. But I'm not giving you nothing.
Yeah, I didn't expect you to open the door. Like that's a
hey.
You get somebody when you get somebody your information, you're opening the door to get to know them better. And she pretty much just told you what she was about. So unless you like talking to you, if you're gonna communicate with her, so you can get, kind of figure out like what she's up to and kind of use it in your movement in a community as a tool, because it sounds like with the community work that you do that she may be like a on the other side and be able to offer
that's why it was weird, because like I hit her up to try to like catch her, like, all right, motherfucker, I got you now. But there's like all the shit she was saying. I was like, yo, it's forcing me to question all of the thoughts and the beliefs that I've had for years. It's like, yo, am I fucking wrong, nigga? Like,
Jay, I feel like you need to hold up, Jay. I feel like you need to. It's
like
black women about
story.
Wait, what was
Jay, you my brother. I'm trying to help you out, bro.
I'm only keeping it 100 with you.
I love you, bro.
What you mean? What do I mean?
What do you mean by that? Do you mean that? So wait.
It's a good.
Yeah, what do you
I know
mean?
what they.
You have to be specific. Like, do you?
The
feel
last
like,
person I expected to fall into that trap. Go ahead.
Like, who are you? You're the clone of Jay from last week.
Show's gonna be good. It's good TV, nigga. So what's your question? Like, I'm ready.
No, because I think this brings up a great point, and it goes to what I was just talking about in the media, how the media even portrays that when black men get successful, that they date outside of their race, which is absolutely not true. Like, everybody thinks that because that's what's portrayed, but it's not actually on the back end. So you're talking about somebody that made a comment to you that, those black girls don't appreciate you. So it's the same thing. Like, we got to stop paying attention to what's in mainstream. Like, I don't know where she's getting her facts from, but a lot of women that I know, and me especially, I appreciate black men.
Yeah, and I've been appreciated by black women the whole time. It was just like,
yo,
how'd you get the audacity? Do I believe what?
That black women appreciate black men. Do they show it?
Well, here's the thing with me. I don't disassociate black men and black women. As far as black women, I feel like I am a black woman. So any trials, tribulations, problems, anything that happens to black women is directly happening to me. I don't see the difference, or I don't feel it. And I'm not saying that's how it should be or that's how people should be. I'm just saying that's how I am. So any trials, good or bad, that black women are going through anywhere in the world, not just American, like, I am connected to black women all over, as I am one of them. So I don't see the differentiation, like, oh, these are black women problems. Oh, these are the problems for black. Like the problem with police brutality and niggas getting murdered in the streets and mass incarceration. In my eyes, that is a black woman problem too, just as much as it's black men. There is no defining separation of what happens to black men and black women. And that's my perspective on how I approach the world.
Right.
So
but I
there
mean,
is
with
no-
regards to appreciation, so was she?
I think she got her information from what has probably been expressed to her from black men she's dealt with. Based on her ability to lure black men based on like aesthetically how she looks, and I'm sure those men have shared some of their issues and concerns about not feeling appreciated, her capitalizing on that, especially, and probably hanging with black women and black men, because she's bisexual. She's getting probably a lot of that from black women too. Like she's probably seeing like how like, yeah, fuck her, girl, I'm a pimp, and I'm, what I'm saying, it's like I don't know, I'm assuming she's getting that information from black people, that's what's giving her the confidence in in the truth of it, because it's coming from the black men and the black women. So she's just kind of, emphasizing that and her exploits per se.
It's yeah.
Am I off the hook, Dave? Now? No.
You said, "Are you off the hook?" Oh, yeah, you off the hook, but it's not. No, but I mean, it's just like I said, it's just something different than the story didn't go as I expected it to.
Yeah, me either, nigga. It was weird. It was
okay.
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. It's still weird.
Freedom of speech, I guess, so I'm gonna move on to a couple of other stories. Yeah, man, that's what I was saying. Like, Jay, I feel like you gonna get a couple of letters, not emails.
From
letters.
who?
She made the statement because it's what she thinks of us black women.
Yeah.
Somebody said, sounds like she's a piece of work, not confident. I don't know. It's a whole lot of.
Yeah.
A lot of people
He
saying
said,
a lot of stuff.
mine was said, conversation should have stopped after the disrespectful comment. Jay.
Well, not really, man, because a lot of people don't know me. Like, I'm not gonna break. I'm not gonna fold. I'm not gonna bend. And a lot of people who don't know you personally don't understand that. Like, I'm just a normal, regular motherfucker to people who don't know me. But for those who know me, like, I'm not gonna fold. I'll never go outside my race. That shit ain't ever gonna happen. And so people who know me, like, I could be in the fucking room with 50 white women like her. And I'm good. Like, I'm standing strong. Like, it's not gonna happen. So it's like that whole inviting them in. Like, nigga, I represent God and the essence of the Most High. So it's like I'm not, it's like whatever, nigga. Like, how'd you get this perspective you got? You come into my realm and let me dissect you. And and it's like, nah, we not gonna date. Ain't no wild shit gonna happen. But yeah, I will probe your mind and dig into your mind like they dig into our minds and dig into our bodies and our history and our DNA and our habits and our social structures. And so I'm gonna dig right back into theirs so we can study them like they study us. So it's interesting for a person like me to have a conversation with a white woman like her, because there's no risk and no danger in her winning. Like, that shit, like, it ain't even no thing.
It's so
Right,
funny.
nigga.
That's a great point.
Yeah, that's how
we
I'm-
don't
yeah.
we don't
Give a fuck.
dig. We don't dig. They dig and they dissect us and they do studies on us, but we
Literally.
don't do the same.
Literally,
we
they
don't-
take our
care.
bodies
Yeah.
and rip us apart and see how our blood flows
But
and our
because
organs
they're
and
different,
shit.
they're a different breed of people. I mean, and not like we're all people, but their motives are different. Like, we don't even shouldn't necessarily care about any of that stuff. Like, they put a lot of stock into finding out what makes us tick and what makes us believing that we're that much different than them. And it's not, they didn't find any serious,
Nah, I disagree. I think it should be the opposite, man. It's like,
You think we should dissect them and dig into them?
well, I think we should dissect their dissection of us. Is what I'm saying.
Yep.
Like, there's a reason that they can control our minds and tell us how to live and where to live and what to say and what to wear and what to watch and what to listen to and what to eat. Like, that's social engineering.
Yeah,
And
but
that
I
takes
think
science.
that's what it is. It doesn't take dissect. I think it's a waste of time to try to understand insanity, and they operate
But
out of a
it's
place
not.
of insanity.
No,
You know what I'm saying?
that's wrong because their insanity is having an effect on our sanity. And
Because
so
we
if we
allowed
if we
though.
just ignore it and don't address
Well, I'm not
the
We're
saying
not
issue,
living
I'm not saying
consciously.
ignore it, but attack it from the space of what we can do to make it better and stop it from happening. Because dissecting it is not, you know what I'm saying? Like understanding.
no, you're wrong. Here's why. You
Okay.
just said your artist didn't want to rehearse.
Yeah.
He's a performer. He just like, oh, I'm gonna just get up on stage and it's gonna be all right. We just talked about that, right?
Yeah,
before
that
the
was the
show.
conversation.
It's
we
like
had.
the only way you can perfect your shit is you gotta rehearse, you gotta practice, you have to study to make sure your shit is on point. So you gotta know your mic levels, you gotta know your breath control, you gotta know your eye location in the crowd. Like all of these things are necessary for you to reach your highest potential.
I agree.
So collectively, if we don't understand what mess we're in, we can't just bypass it. We have to study. How the fuck did we get in this position? What is it about us that can't get us out of this? We got to study and research, and a lot of what and why that is, our relationship with European culture. It's not our culture, so we don't understand it. Like, I'm talking to you in English, nigga. This ain't our language. And so it's like, it's the reason we can't communicate with each other and connect with each other. And we could just shoot it
'Cause it's
motherfucker in the
not
head
ours.
and not care about it. And we can let people be disrespectful to our women and not protect them, and allow women to be disrespectful to themselves and not check it. And you know what I'm saying? We fucked up. And so if we don't study this shit and dissect how we got in this predicament, that is counterproductive.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think it's the difference between studying how we got in the predicament and studying the people who put us in the predicament. It's like,
But it's
Know
it's-
thy
so-
enemy.
So wait,
that's
so
true,
is
though.
it so?
No, it
so
makes
this-
sense. It makes sense.
So
I
this-
agree.
So
I agree.
this speaks
I agree.
this speaks to, and I'm gonna approach this from a health and fitness perspective. This speaks to how calcified our gland is. We can't, our third eye, we can't see. No one is moving consciously. Which just like
Cecily.
Cecily.
Mhm.
Cecily spoke and she said, I'm not in, I don't know about everything that's going on. You're busy with your businesses and your family, but I can tell also that you move consciously. Like that stuff doesn't, the mainstream stuff isn't part of your, it's not in your realm. And I think like the mainstream stuff and everything all of the stuff that we live in is surface stuff. I want to cuss so bad.
You
Fuck
can.
that
shit.
I put the parental advisory is up there.
Dude, like all of this shit is
We'll keep
it's
this side of the
surface
table
stuff.
G-rated,
It's
and
surface
those
stuff
guys
and
will
the
say
stuff
what
that
they
we
want to
pay
say.
attention to. And I'm gonna say it, and ain't nobody
You
gonna
can just
like
touch
it.
me and I'll
Say
cuss
it.
for you. like your bleep button. Like bleep.
But
This
even down to racism. If we look at that, that's really, I mean, it's like a psychological game that just messes with us, and we
Yep.
don't even see the real issues.
Yeah,
That's not racism. Is not the real issue.
Oh, we coming out of this shit though. We waking up.
Yeah, but yeah.
Be
and,
encouraged,
and
people.
I'm so
We coming. We
and
on
I'm
the way.
so proud of our so-called millennial generation and how they're using their resources and their minds and their starting businesses and communities within their millennial groups or whatever. But we just not paying attention to, people laugh at me all the time. I don't even watch TV. Like, I don't pay attention to mainstream stuff because I'm like, it's a level of consciousness that if you move in that space, your eyes will be open to so many things. But literally, like the foods that we eat, they're designed and they are mastered in a lab to calcify your gland. I'm not just making it up. This is fact. It calcifies your gland. It slows down your body. Like you can't get to that level of consciousness because your pineal gland is so calcified. You can't even see. So what we're making assumptions based on, in media and all that stuff, it's really just surface stuff. It's not even of the realm that we are actually living in. And
Ashe.
yeah, you feel me?
Mhm.
Right.
I want to say so much, but I'm gonna keep it right.
I know how you feel. Trust me.
You know, I honestly can't tell whether we're on the up and up. You know,
We
like
are.
when and I'm
Let me
glad
confirm
you-
it.
I'm glad you're
Right.
confirming
There to
it.
confirm it.
Yeah.
But
No problem.
But in my own, like, generally, I try to do my part.
Yeah.
The work that I do with children, the work that I do with even the adults that come into my space, like, I do my part to encourage, to be,
Yeah, you do a good job.
creates
Cecily. I
to-
like you.
thank
You're
you.
very
I went
helpful
to your
for the
business
community.
page right away. I love
Oh,
it.
Definitely.
thank you.
Yeah.
Shout
You
out.
know, just building confidence, creativity, those type of things I think are the tools we need to get to the next place. So that's where I spend my work.
Mhm.
But, you know, on a day-to-day basis, especially if I spend too much time in the news and the media and social media, it just get bogged down and
Oh,
down
yeah.
and down and down.
That's what
and
it's
it just-
designed to do,
Yeah,
too.
Yeah, I
it's
can't.
designed to lower your vibrational
Yeah.
frequency.
Yeah.
Once you could be having a great day and turn on the TV and hear about a whole bunch of people getting killed, and what do? Did you see what happened? And that people reposting stuff, and they don't even realize you're impacting your community negatively
Yeah.
when you do that,
The
because the
energy
people.
that you put behind
Yeah,
it.
and that's
Yeah.
why I'm
Yeah.
so, some people say social media is just social media. It's not.
Nope.
They're recording all of your algorithms, all of how you think, what you like, what you love, what makes you cry, what made you broke, what money you spent, every single thing that you do. So when you start to talk about the energies that you put out in social media, it matters. So we just gotta be more conscious. It makes me angry, actually, and sad that we don't pay attention.
Be encouraged.
Be encouraged.
Okay.
We
Thank
coming.
you.
I've been to the mountaintop, I saw it. I saw heaven. That's why I'm like, oh yeah, we going through all this shit, but it's a reason. Like, I saw it. I saw what Dr. King saw. Facts. And it's like, that's why my consistent words, like, be encouraged. We about to
Yeah.
win. And it's like, it seems bleak. It seems dark. It seems like we hopeless. Don't fall for that shit. We almost there. We gotta keep pushing. Everybody that's running a business, be righteous about it. Be strong. You're gonna be tested cause the nigga losing. They losing. And so they pulling out all of their stops. They gon' they trying to tear us down because they losing. Like we right at the finish line. We right there. We gotta keep pushing. Keep running your business. Keep pouring into your children. Keep loving your brother and sister in the street. And it gotta be the youngins. We gotta stop killing each other. Fuck all that shit. Fuck the jobs and the deficit and all of the bullshit that these presidential candidates are gonna talk about. We are the answer. Everything we can heal anything. Whatever the fuck you going through. If you having hardships in your family, with your children, with your mate, that can all change and be blessed and healed. If you dealing with illnesses, if you got cancer, if you got STDs, if you got ailments, all that shit can be healed. And it will be. Keep pushing. If we got each other, there's nothing we can't do. We are in the image of God, literally. Don't let this social media pull us away from what the fuck we are. We could tilt this motherfucking earth on its axis. Literally.
We are.
If we know whatever the fuck you grew up believing in, whether you went to church or Islam or whatever your belief system is, that God, that power, that energy resides in you to change the fucking world. Literally. This ain't some random mysticism. It's like, nah, literally. But we need each other. We need Gayle King just like we need Snoop Dogg. They lost. We got to reel them back in. You think when you praying that your ancestors ain't fucking with you? The people that you love that done passed in your life, your grandmama and your granddaddy and your mother and your father and all your aunts and uncles. We gonna win. We gonna win. You gotta keep pushing. They fucking with us.
And that was Jason's fist up moment for the.
I'm gonna throw my fist
Sure.
up for Jay. That was heartfelt. You all right? All right.
So, okay, we're gonna use that momentum to segue right into this interview with the preaching. No, seriously, on the serious note, I appreciate your words, brother. It's always, when you start speaking from the heart, it's powerful, and we appreciate it. But I do want to talk to Cecily before we run out of time, because we brought her all the way here. It wouldn't be right to do. No, but first of all, thank you so much for joining us here on the Neighborish livecast. We're glad to have you here. I want to talk to you a little bit about what you do, about the So Creative, SEW. Did you come up with that name, or how did the name come about?
Me and my partner came
Oh,
up with
okay,
it. Yeah.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you're the co-owner, so you have a partner. You shout her out. What's her name?
Her name's Tisha Thorne.
Oh, okay, cool. So, and how did you guys come up with the idea? First of all, let's go back. Let's start from the beginning. Where did you start sewing? Like, where did find a passion or love for sewing from?
My mom taught me how to sew.
Awesome,
Mm-hmm.
awesome.
She's an artist, and basically my whole household was always creative. So
Cool. And so, because I saw I always try to research a little bit. So I saw that you did other things before, the So Creative Lounge. What moved you toward making it something that you're more, serious about, or working toward bringing sewing to the forefront?
right. So it's interesting because the space we're in is the birth of So Creative Lounge.
So cool.
In 2012, I'm gonna try to
Years ago. No,
I'm gonna try to do a speed of a fast version of this story.
Nah,
but
go ahead.
Yeah, you were the first brand in here, weren't you?
Yeah,
She was
yeah.
the first brand in
Sometimes we
Nubian
go
Human.
over our time, so take your time.
So Anika and I, we stumbled upon each other on art all night. She was in Georgetown
Dope,
with a
dope.
booth. I was walking around with two of my friends and some of my clothing. 'Cause I wanted to start a clothing line. She wanted to open a store. And so I was like, hey, we should talk because we can help each other with
Right.
this, with our businesses. And to this day, her name is in my phone as Anika Nubian Human, because I wasn't sure if I was going to meet her again. It was just like, she wanted to start this brand, Nubian Human.
Right,
so,
right.
I think a year later, she opened this store. Well, half of it, the part we're sitting in.
Right.
I started my clothing line, and basically when at the store opened, I think 75% of the stock in the space was my clothing.
Nice.
And so, I mean, the traffic now to this space is definitely not very different than what it was, in 2013. And so we had to come up with ideas on how to get people here.
Okay.
And she was like, well, what about a sip and sew? I don't know if I said it or she said it. I was like, all right, I could do a sip and sew class. So we started these classes. I talked with my Tisha, who was at the time my neighbor. We lived in Congress Heights together.
Oh, okay.
And we just started. We started with the first class. We had like 10 people in it. Next class, we had like 20. Every class was selling out, every single one of them.
Wow.
To the point where we just had to eventually come up with our own space.
Right,
So,
right. And why did you think, or why is sewing such an important skill and art to learn and master? In a time when, a lot of people would say, well, I just get my clothes from the store. Well,
Right.
What makes it so important? In your mind, in your opinion.
Yeah. So we have. I mean, let's start with adults. So
Okay.
adults come in. You got two stories. One, my grandma sewed. My mom sewed. I didn't learn how to sew. Yada yada yada. Or I learned. Or another story we hear all the time is that I learned 20 years ago.
Right.
And it's basically at this point, it's not being taught in the schools.
Right. It's a lost art.
People are not able to hem their pants, sew a button
Right.
on, just basic things. So on a practical level, it's just something you should just know. Just like cooking, just come on, sew your button on.
Right.
Right.
I'll take your money. I will sew your button on for $5.
Right.
But you can also learn how
Got
to
do it
a
sew your
couple
button
buttons I
on.
need.
Yeah.
Got a couple
Yeah.
dollars. All
I
right.
happen to have $5. No, but
Right.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely an essential skill, and I think that like you said, it's kind of lost, one of those lost arts. So it's such a beautiful thing that you guys are, pushing it in this way and making it something interesting, like the idea for like the sew alongs and the sip and sews. It's such an interesting thing. So the actual So Creative Lounge. So it's an actual lounge. Is it a place or?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're located at 3711 Rhode Island Avenue in Mount Rainier, Maryland.
Nice.
So it's 2,000 square feet, 2 classroom spaces, office space, a shared art space for designers. Yeah.
So interesting. And I always say, whenever we have people on here who offer goods or services, I always say it takes a certain type of person to, first of all, learn something for themselves and then notice the deficiency or need for it and not to just notice that and then be like, oh, that sucks, and then just go on with their lives, but to actually take the initiative to say, I'm going to be the one who presents this to the world, who makes an effort to bring it back. And so it is so interesting that you chose to do that. With sewing. So going back to originally learning how to sew, you said it was your mom that taught you how to sew. How much of those lessons and learning how to sew kind of impacted you, in your life and guided the decision to teach other people?
So I was, so I learned a lot of different types of art growing up.
Oh, okay. You said that your parents were artists.
Yeah, my mom is an artist.
It's an artist. Okay.
And so what impacted? I think it was just one of those things I was just good at. And when I got to college, my parents sent me away with a sewing machine. So I started teaching classes in my dorm room. I started doing fashion shows at Howard. I was, selling the different boutiques in DC and in Chicago, which is where I'm from. So I didn't have to get a job. I just, I made money on my own time, did a lot of custom orders and that sort of thing.
That's
so,
nice.
when me and my husband got married, it was like, okay, let's start a business now. It was like, but Simply Cecily, my clothing line, was kind of the low-hanging fruit. Like, let's get that on the manufacturing.
Get that going first.
Yeah. So before that, I was doing a lot of custom orders. We got married. We started manufacturing.
Nice.
And that sort of thing. So it just kind of naturally fit. It was something I was, I'm good at and have a strong interest in.
That's awesome. You mentioned your marriage. How did getting married, because a lot of people, dealing with relationships and doing something as all-encompassing and time-consuming as starting a business, they struggle with balancing the two. Did you notice issues, or did you have any struggles with it? Some people, it just comes naturally and everything flows. So, did you fall into which side of those? My questions are weird. I just noticed they got.
We both enjoy business.
Oh, okay. That's a huge hurdle because if you don't, it sucks.
Yeah,
but yeah, good.
Yeah, we both enjoy it, and we both. He's an idea man.
Oh, okay.
So he always has lots of different ideas, and I think I'm good at executing them. So we have a very good complementary skills. At this point, I left my full-time job at the beginning of last year.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And so he's been holding it down as far as like the bills and, the real stuff so that I can grow it big enough so that I can do a healthy contribution to our household. So I think we just are
so
good.
Awesome.
Nice. Yeah. Having a partner, somebody, as opposed to, and I don't want to say just a spouse, but in this context, you understand I'm saying, someone, as opposed to someone who's, there with all the stuff that a spouse is there for, but also someone who can be a partner, because that's not always the case. Sometimes you can't work with the people that, family or people but to have that is huge, and it's awesome to think that that's even possible, because, a lot of people who don't, think about the possibilities of that. So in the pursuit to start the business, to get things going, what are some of the struggles that you ran into trying to get everything up and running, or did you have any struggles?
I mean, the opening the studio was definitely a struggle because we went from basically having hardly any expenses to, you know, just our rent alone is basically almost $3,000 a month.
Right, right.
So that's a big hurdle for someone who wants to teach somebody how to sew.
Right.
You know, so, you know, getting over that and really getting the numbers together, the marketing. We're on the second floor of a post office.
Right.
So you can't necessarily look into the space to see what's going on. Like if we had Street View, people would be all in it just because people are always intrigued when they come up and they like, oh my God, the space is wonderful. The machines, you know, you got 5-year-olds on the machine by themselves. Like, yeah, this is what we do. But so that part has been you know, difficult.
Can I ask you a question? Do you guys do you have contracts or do you do anything with the school system?
Yeah, so right now we teach in 3 different public charter schools in addition to our own space, and all of those schools actually contacted us and wanted us to be a part of their work. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, it's great that schools are, you know, making that effort to bring something like sewing, like I said, back into, you know, the mainstream. I remember my mom used to sew when I was younger. She had like the sewing machines and stuff, and that it's like, you know, sat out in like the attic and stuff like that for years because people don't really do it as much anymore. But it's such an essential skill, like you said, something as simple as mending, as opposed to always running to the store to purchase new stuff. Being able to like put a button back on something, or you know, like you said, hem pants, and not always, you know, relying on other people to do that type of stuff for us, but having those skills for ourselves is powerful, you know, to everything, like to the movement. Go ahead. Patrice,
no, actually, there are a few people on here that said their kids children are interested in sewing and want you to share your information again, because I know you did already. And
right. So the website is SewCreativeLounge.com. It's at 3711 Rhode Island Avenue in Mount Rainier, Maryland. We teach both children and adult classes starting at age 5 all the way up until forever. Yeah.
102 is the cutoff.
Right.
Once you get 102, you can't do no more sewing.
Yeah, we also just started, I don't know if you all, have you heard of Creative Suitland? Have you heard of this new space?
I
haven't, but
I went to the Kwanzaa event out there. It was excellent. Shout out Victorious.
Yeah.
That was an excellent Kwanzaa event.
Yeah, so it's located on Silver Hill Road. So
it's new.
Literally like 5-8 minutes from here. And so we started.
I think that's substantial too. My man Stan is running a program in there.
And we have a satellite.
For real, y'all out there too?
Yep.
Okay,
so we had our first sip and sew class last month.
Did the stitching get crooked because y'all be drunk? Like
no. quite honestly, you know, people come in with a lot of anxiety about sewing,
so
and
the
so
wine
the
helps
wine
you?
just kind of
like
like
sipping
relax.
paint, yeah.
Right.
I be thinking it'd be
That
some
makes sense.
Gordon Gartrell shirts.
Yep.
Get drunk and take this sewing machine. What?
Like no injuries or anything. So that's
So
good
if you're on this side of the city, you can go to sipandsewsuitland.eventbrite.com to see our schedule.
Tell them about the camp, the summer camp.
Yes.
Right.
So we have summer camp, day camps as well.
It's dope too.
And the summer camps, when are we starting? I want to say June 22nd. It's 9 weeks of camp this summer. It's basically 5 sessions. We have sewing camp, fashion designer camp.
Electronic shit.
Yep, electronic.
That's
stuff.
not the official title.
Yeah, come on, Jay.
My daughter was in the camp and she was like real excited about it. That's why I was like, tell them about the camp.
Yeah.
So she's in the camp?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yep, she did as well. So yeah, we do a lot of things, and I like to mix. An entrepreneurship camp. That's that part.
Wow.
That was the most.
So y'all did like a STEM
huge.
type of session. What was those 2 weeks when they?
That was the last summer was wearable technology. So
Yeah,
we'll
see,
still
see
do
all the stuff she be
wearable
doing?
technology.
a technology portion mixed with fashion.
And when is that? Is that also in the summer?
Yep, it's all next summer or this summer, starting June 22nd. Registration opens February 15th.
Yeah.
You can go to sewcreativecamp.com/2020.
Okay.
Nice,
So creative.
nice.
SEW Creative
Camp.com/2020.
Yeah, and we'll make sure we
Get that
post
time.
all the links
Yep.
on the page after the show. We'll make sure everything gets posted. So I want to talk a little bit about young, aspiring Cecily. And so I always ask this question to all of our guests because I always like the introspective answers that I get. So if you had the opportunity to talk to, let's say, 12-year-old Cecily, being you now, knowing all that you know, being through everything and having the life lessons that you've been through, what would that conversation sound like? What kind of things would you say to 12-year-old Cecily?
I really don't think I've changed much.
Okay.
In all these years, I've always been a go-getter. I've always been entrepreneurial in spirit.
Nice.
I have this picture, my phone is over there, of me next to my mom. I had a ribbon. I was like 10 years old. She had a table. I had a table. We were selling our stuff next to each other.
That's 10 years old.
Yeah, I was like 10 years old. I had a first place ribbon. My mom didn't have one.
No. I was pointing that out. I'm sure mom is happy that you.
But going back, maybe I think the only thing is probably like slow down,
Okay.
because even to this day, I'm always doing 100 different things. And so just taking your time and enjoying each aspect of life. And I don't have to, sell 50 scrunchies, which is what I used to make when I was younger.
Okay.
Like I can still do that and enjoy other things at the same time. But, I don't think there was a whole lot of big aha moment that would have shifted who I am today.
Okay.
I think at that age, I'm pretty much still in the same realm.
Kind of had it figured out.
Because in high school, I was making prom dresses for my friends.
That's dope. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I've had a few people answer like that. I wouldn't tell her. If anything, I'd ask her some questions, But, but yeah, and so that's dope to have that that spirit and that knowledge and that confidence, because so many people don't like them. A lot of the main answers that I get are things like, be secure in who you are, or, don't shy away from your dreams, things like that. So when I hear people with that kind, it's indicative of nurturing and support and things of that nature that you got, and that foster that entrepreneurial spirit. And I heard you say you are doing an entrepreneurial class in the program that you're doing. So how important is that for us, for our community, and also for I'll say for young girls, because for young women to kind of foster that spirit in them and make sure that they have that going forward.
Yeah. It's about, for me, it's a couple things. One is about the confidence portion of it. So you can teach a child a lot of different things, but if they don't have the confidence to do it, it don't matter.
Great point.
Yeah.
It don't matter.
Definitely.
So when the kids come in and they, make a skirt or make a dress or whatever they're working on, and they like put it on and they like have this big smile and they're excited about it, like that's the energy that's going to really get them to the next point.
Okay.
And be able to do the next thing that they need to do. The other part of it is about generational wealth. Like we're not going to get it from 9 to 5s. Like I started looking at like how much we need in order to save and pay to college and stuff like
Cecily. So one of my homegirls was like, I'm registering for sewing class right now.
that. Yay! I'll see you soon. But yeah, we're not gonna get there by working and building other people's businesses.
Yeah.
And so I want to make sure, like the kids that come through my program, if they have an interest and want to build a business and they want to make money, like they can do it.
Right.
Definitely.
And my background is in business. I have my degree from Howard.
HU.
And then I went on and got my MBA at GW. So like
I don't know their thing,
but
G-Dub.
okay, all right, that's close enough. All right.
but just to say like business's forefront, the art part is just is ingrained. And so working with them and helping them understand like these are the components of a business. these your products this is what you need to do. Like, I'm laughing because my 6-year-old started a pillow making business.
Aw.
And so she's home, making her pillows and such, and got orders and
Wow.
custom orders. And I'm like,
awesome.
I looked at her purse. She had like $70 in there. I'm like, girl,
At
can I
6
borrow
years old,
$50?
$70.
Let me
Yeah.
get
I'm
that.
like, I got $70 in my account right now. Give me some.
Right.
But I'm saying, like, they
dope,
they
though.
need that. They
Definitely,
need that.
definitely.
you
What
know.
you said about not acquiring wealth through working 9 to 5. I think that's that's one of those things that's part of the system that's kind of manufactured to us. That if you just keep working and just keep stay in that 9 to 5 and keep your head down. And I heard I'm trying to remember if it was a meme or what it was. Anyway, it was a story. There was a guy who saw his boss pull up in a brand new BMW, and he stopped the boss as he was walking in, and he was like, "Man, you always get the nice. You always have the nice new cars and everything." He was like, "That's right. And if you stay focused and keep working hard and keep your head down, next year I'm gonna get another BMW. Thank you." And it was
That's
it's funny, but it's so true. It's like you're building other people's wealth when you should be building your own. And these type of skills and these type of things are so important. It's so awesome that you're doing what you do. And on behalf of all of us here, I want to thank you and all the
Absolutely.
people that you help and
Thank you.
and teach. So if there are people out there looking to, if there are young girls out there who happen to see this, who feel like they have that entrepreneurial spirit, they have an idea, they want to do something, but don't really know where to begin, what the first steps are, what would you say to them?
Man, what would I say to them? The first thing, first, like, figure out what that product is and work on it and build it. Doesn't have to be 100 things. It doesn't have to be, perfect, but just, try to figure out what that one thing is. And then work your family. Youth is on your side, and so people do have a affinity for supporting young businesses and such. And so, I would say, like, talk with your family and see. And there's also a lot of youth fairs too.
Okay.
So my kids at my studio participated in one in Cleveland Park. I think it's coming in May. So they had the opportunity to have a table, and they won Best Pitch, which I was thought it was
Awesome. Congratulations.
pretty exciting.
All right, man.
Last year, yeah. So, but yeah, getting yourself out there, and getting in front of people, so they can see your products and that sort of thing. But just do it. Yeah, when you're young, you don't really have anything to really lose.
Right.
So just take a chance.
Definitely. That's great advice, and I hope somebody hears you at any age. People who are struggling with that entrepreneurial spirit, and like I said, just not knowing, because the hardest part of any journey is the first step, and so just understanding what to do and just kind of losing the self-doubt and the things that you put on yourself, and just like you said, just doing it. And so having the spirit and the ability to do that is pretty awesome. So again, thank you so much for what you do and what you bring to the table. I thought it was awesome when Jay was telling me about what you do, and we were talking about having you on as a guest. I was like, let me check this out, and did some research, and I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. Are you wearing something that you made? Is this one of your creations?
Yeah.
Can you tell us about this?
Well, it's one of my pieces from my fall collection. So
Okay.
I had taken a short break, kind of still on a little break from Simply Cecily, just because doing Simply Cecily and So Creative, and I was working full time, was a little bit much. So I had to take a little break. But yeah, it's one of the pieces, a little kimono jacket.
Oh, okay, cool. Kimono jacket. That's really nice. So so you said that the working and everything was getting a little much, and you said you recently left your 9 to 5.
It's been a year now.
How awesome was that to be able to be like, I quit? Did you do it in any special way? Did you bake a cake like the lady on the commercial?
No, I did not bake a cake.
Okay.
I actually looked in my Google Drive for my last resignation letter and printed it out.
So I'm not the only one who writes resignation letters all the time. I'm Even if they never send it or never do it.
No, I used it for the last job I left, and
Oh,
then I printed it
that's
out
what you meant.
again.
Oh,
for
okay.
the-
You
Just
print stuff
change
on a
the-
regular.
change
No,
the title.
Changed it. Was like,
dope,
you
though.
know, thank you
Yeah.
for the opportunity. Yeah.
And it does. For some people, it might not seem like that big of a deal, but for most,
Mhm.
it's not only it's a scary thing, and it's something that we're not prone to do just because of all the responsibilities and things that we have, not realizing, like you said, that wealth is not created through working 9 to 5s. You have to jump out there and take that chance on yourself and believe in yourself. And so anybody that has the unmitigated goal to do that is a superhero in my mind. So
My
you're
Yeah.
that's so awesome that you're able to do that. Guys, you got any questions for?
I just want to say congratulations on leaving your job.
Thank you.
That's
thank
so
you.
huge. People, I try not to speak against, working so much because sometimes, you hear people say, oh, everybody can't leave their job, but you really can. It's just, working through the trenches. I've been full-time for 11 years now, and so to hear another sister doing the same thing, congratulations.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's very inspiring, like in a real way.
Yeah.
Like even just in the moment right now, just having you here and telling your story, and you too, Patrice, like y'all being able to take the reins of your own lives. It's powerful, man. It lends to what we were talking about earlier, like how we need each other, how we are the answers and the solutions to our problems. Like, I literally feel empowered. Like, y'all are two strong black women. Like literally, like I could feel your natural hair. I can feel the no makeup and the confidence that exudes from approaching your days like that. Like, it means a lot. It seems like it's small, but it's like when you in tune, you acknowledge all of the work you put into yourself and the work that it takes to look yourself in the mirror and address yourself. And like, I'm going to run a business. I'm going to raise my family. I'm going to succeed. Like, I'm with you. I feel it. Every little small thing, like, I know what it takes. So I appreciate you, Dave, for being
thank
consistent and running this show every day. I mean, every week, with the intention of helping people. Like, everybody ain't got the balls to do that. It take a lot of effort. So, I appreciate y'all sisters in particular. And,
Thank
from
you. We
black men,
appreciate you.
I want it to be known. We encourage and support y'all. We here if you need us in any capacity. So, and that's what we need, man. Like, so salute to y'all. Y'all, I appreciate it. And whatever we need to collectively do to win, I'm in the battle with you. Anika just pieced out on my live, who, we discussed earlier, you were the first brand in Nubian Human. And to see y'all still going, still expanding, still pushing, still, and still being beautiful and strong and nice. Like, that shit ain't easy in the midst of what we facing. So salute to all y'all.
Definitely, man. We keep company with some pretty dope sisters, man.
Absolutely.
And the energy here is amazing. And we don't get to talk about that much, but just being conscious of our energy and us just sitting at this table, you can, like you said, you can feel the energy, and especially some of the words you just offered, and we can walk out of here today and thrive off of that. I know I am. I'm thriving off of it right now, and it's not hard. It's not easy working, being an entrepreneur and and what you doing, Dave. We face so many obstacles and adversities, and we and we push through them. But like you said, it has to be collectively, and supporting each other, and getting out of this black man versus black woman thing, and realizing that as women we are protected and we are supported, and as women we should support and we should show love.
Yeah. I mean, I do agree that there is a concerted effort to push that separatist movement and keep us kind of separated and not understanding the strength that is in us coming together and understanding our own strength, like Jay said, and basically the power that we have in community and helping each other and supporting each other. So that's so important, and that's one of the reasons that we do this, and bring dope people like Cecily on to talk about, the things that they do, because it's awesome. So with that being said, one more time, where can everybody find you if they want to sign up for the classes, if they want to come get awesome pieces like your kimono jacket?
You can go to SEW creativelounge.com.
We got some of her pieces in Nubian Human too.
Definitely.
Oh,
awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And all the information for like signing up for the classes and all that.
Yep,
all
everything is there. Even for summer camp, if you you can click on the link there to get to our summer camp page as well.
That's dope. I was expecting you to go longer. I thought because most people, to do like social media pages.
That's
and
smart. She's on it, babe.
No, that's,
she's on it.
branding is like one spot to go to get everything.
That's how I'm trying to go.
Brilliant.
Yeah, go to the page.
I was waiting. I was like, oh no, okay, that's it. Cool.
No, I mean, because you can get to our social media through there. I mean, everything is so Creative Lounge. Just go there or call me 301-779-9000.
Are you on IG?
Cool. Yep.
What
So
is it?
Creative Lounge.
So Creative Lounge.
Yep.
Yeah,
Facebook. So
get on
Creative
of it
Lounge.
through the website. She just said that.
Oh, she did. I'm sorry. I went somewhere. I'm just hungry. I'm sorry. I worked out this morning.
But yeah, man.
Sorry.
So with that being said, Jay,
Yo.
promote some stuff.
Got a lot of stuff coming up here at the Anacostia Arts Center in Nubian Human. This Thursday, February 13th, we're hosting Adult Game Night.
Adult Game Night.
Yeah, like with I don't know what games, but I know we got Black Card Revoked and a couple of other cool adult games. It's going to be a good vibe. I think it's going to be, if it's a Nubian Human event, I'm assuming it's going to be some fucking wine involved. The week out, so that's this Thursday the 13th, adult game night. Then the following Thursday the 20th, we're hosting So Far Sounds. If y'all familiar with So Far Sounds, they do pop-up music shows all throughout the world, and so Nubian Human was selected to host the next So Far Sounds. But you got to go to their website and shit. It's like ticket only shit. Fuck them down.
Okay.
And then obviously, what we're all focusing on here at Nubian Human is the Black Love Experience that's coming up March 21st. And I think that's really all. It's personally my shit. The mixtape is still popping. I'm still getting a lot of views and downloads.
Say something, President.
Yeah, and like Cecily, you can just find all my shit, social media, music videos on jasonslyrics.com.
I was about to say, your stuff is on her site too?
Nah, I'm just saying, it's all funneled. It's all funneled through the website, jasonslyrics.com. You can find all of the shit that was going on, music videos and all that stuff. And I think that's really all I got to promote. But Black Love Experience is going to be epic this year. Yeah. And the last thing, February 28th, we're continuing our Native Tongue open mic series here at Nubian Human. And I'm so psyched because our feature this month is Cecily. The other Cecily, what's it, Bumbray?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you was about to sing.
Yeah, but
you sing too?
Nah, but she's super dope, and I'm super psyched that she's gonna be our feature, because she's been traveling all over the world, touring, and I guess she got a break, and she's gonna bless us with her remarkable voice. February 28th, Native Tongue open mic series. I think that's all I got, Dave.
I remember it was a time you said you did the first one. And you was like, I'm not doing no more of these
things. It's taken on an entity of its own, because that's very similar to the energy that we can feel here. Imagine 30 people kind of all on the same page, feeling the same way, and willing to actively address the world and the contradictions in it. Like, it's not really a bunch of talk and art. It's really a strategic meeting of how we can tangibly shape shift, the world in our favor and renew ourselves and our abilities and our connection to each other. That shit's deep. So I thought it was going to be a one and done, but it has turned into some type of and you got to realize, man, this is Washington, D.C., the most powerful nation on the planet. And here we are, the lumpen proletariat class in the middle of Southeast Washington, D.C., at the corner of Martin Luther King Avenue and Good Hope Road.
Yeah.
You know, this is where revolution starts. This is, you know, whatever happens in Washington, D.C., the world will follow.
Yeah.
We're the most powerful city on the planet. And so we have some of the most intelligent, artistic, and creative people on the planet here working and living amongst each other, but we have not connected yet. And that is what is happening at the Native Tongue Open Mic. So that's why it's still going, Dave.
Great. That's a good answer. I like that. That sound reasoning. I got to give you this. Hey. Sounds good. So I want to thank you guys so much for rocking with us today. It's been another awesome episode. I want to thank Cecily Habimana.
Yes.
Hey.
Yeah. For coming through and rocking with us. So we'll post all the links to, the one link to the website.
That's right.
On our page,
post my link too, Dave.
Show. I do post.
Oh, okay. You know, I don't watch the shit, so I don't know what you're doing.
I know you're not very supportive.
I'm here though. Every week. I'm here.
You are on time.
Yeah, on
you know
time.
me about not being.
Me too.
Anyway.
I'm on time.
All right,
I'm coming in hot.
Definitely. I appreciate you come in hot, right?
Fruitfit.com.
Fruitfit,
Get healthy.
We didn't even talk
Get
about
healthy.
Fruitfit.
Get in shape.
Come on.
Yes. Fruitfit.com, District Heights. Start at 5 a.m. Wake up, get your workout in, go to work, or you can come after work. I train 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. and on Saturday mornings at 7 a.m. before your day gets started. Great fitness family, small groups, and amazing energy. Fruitfit.com. You can find me on IG, Fruitfit, and Facebook, Fruitfit Affordable Fitness. Thank you.
Yeah.
All
right, guys.
Thanks,
Thank you guys so much for checking us out. This has been Neighborish Livecast. We'll be back next week with more.
Hold on, Dave.
Oh.
Be encouraged.
Oh, my goodness.
We will win. I don't want you to finish this day without knowing that. Let's go.
That's dope. Can you say it into this camera, too?
No, it's too late. It was all the emotion went into my shit. They'll get it. They'll just rewind this shit, and I'll just point to you and just do my voiceover while I'm doing this.
In the time you just did that, you could have said it again.
Yeah,
anyway, thank you guys for watching this. We'll be back next week with more great conversation, more great guests. This has been the Neighborish Livecast. Peace.